The bustling scene in the laboratory, office, and studio ended. The actors quietly disappeared without another glance at Foyle. Dagenham gave Foyle his deadly smile. Tough, aren't you? You're really unique. My name is Saul Dagenham. We've got 5 minutes for talk. Come into the garden. The sedative garden atop the therapy building was a triumph of therapeutic planning. Every perspective, every color, every contour had been designed to placate hostility, soothe resistance, melt anger, evaporate hysteria, absorb melancholy and depression. Sit down, Dagenham said, pointing to a bench alongside a pool in which crystal waters tinkled. Don't try to jaunt. You're drugged. I'll have to walk around a bit. Can't come too close to you. I'm hot. Do you know what that means? Foyle shook his head sullenly. Dagenham cupped both hands around the flaming blossom of an orchid and held them there for a moment. Watch the flower, he said. You'll see. He paced up a path and turned suddenly. You're right, of course. Everything that happened to you is real. Only what did happen? Go to hell, Foyle growled. You know, Foyle, I admire you. Go to hell. In your own primitive way, you've got ingenuity and guts. You're Cro-Magnon, Foyle. I've been checking on you. That bomb you threw in the pristine shipyards was lovely, and you nearly wrecked General Hospital getting the money and material together. Dagenham counted fingers. You looted lockers, stole from the blind ward, stole drugs from the pharmacy, stole apparatus from the lab stockrooms. Go to hell, you! But what have you got against Pristine? Why'd you try to blow up his shipyard? They tell me you broke in and went tearing through the pits like a wild man. What were you trying to do, Foyle? Go to hell. Dagenham smiled. If we're going to chat, he said, you'll have to hold up your end. Your conversation's getting monotonous. What happened to Nomad? I don't know about Nomad, nothing. The ship was last reported over 7 months ago. Then, spurless Versant. Are you the sole survivor? And what have you been doing all this time? Having your face decorated? I don't know about Nomad, nothing. No, Foyle, that won't do. You show up with Nomad tattooed across your face. Fresh tattooed. Intelligence checks and finds that you were aboard Nomad when she sailed. Foyle, Gulliver, AS-128/127-006. Mechanics mate, 3rd class. As if all this isn't enough to throw intelligence into a tizzy, you come back in a private launch that's been missing 50 years. Man, you're cooking in the reactor. Intelligence wants the answers to all these questions, and you ought to know how Central Intelligence butchers its answers out of people. Foyle started. Dagenham nodded as he saw his point sink home. Which is why I think you'll listen to reason. We want information, Foyle. I tried to trick it out of you. Admitted. I failed because you're too tough. Admitted. Now I'm offering an honest deal. We'll protect you if you'll cooperate. If you don't, you'll spend 5 years in an intelligence lab having information chopped out of you. It was not the prospect of the butchery that frightened Foyle, but the thought of the loss of freedom. A man had to be free to avenge himself, to raise money and find Vorga again, to rip and tear and gut Vorga. What kind of deal? He asked. Tell us what happened to Nomad and where you left her. Why, man? Why? Because of the salvage, man. There ain't nothing to salvage. She's a wreck is all. Even a wreck's salvageable. You mean you jet out 1,000,000 miles to pick up pieces? Don't joker me, man. All right, Dagenham said in exasperation. There's the cargo. She was split wide open. No cargo left. It was a cargo you don't know about, Dagenham said confidentially. Nomad was transferring platinum bullion to Mars Bank. Every so often, banks have to adjust accounts. Normally, enough trade goes on between planets so that accounts can be balanced on paper. The wars disrupted normal trade, and Mars Bank found that Pristine owed them 20-odd million credits without any way of getting the money short of actual delivery. Pristine was delivering the money in bar platinum aboard the Nomad. It was locked in the purser's safe. 20 million, Foyle whispered. Give or take a few thousand. The ship was insured, but that just means that the underwriters, Bones and Weeg, get the salvage rights, and they're even tougher than Pristine. However, there'll be a reward for you. Say 20,000 credits? 20 million, Foyle whispered again. We're assuming that an OS raider caught up with Nomad somewhere on course and let her have it. They couldn't have boarded and looted, or you wouldn't have been left alive. This means that the purser's safe is still... Are you listening, Foyle? But Foyle was not listening. He was seeing 20 million, not 20,000. 20 million in platinum bullion as a broad highway to Vorga. No more petty thefts from lockers and labs. 20 million for the taking and the raising of Vorga. Foyle! Foyle awoke. He looked at Dagenham. I don't know about Nomad nothing, he said. What the hell's got into you now? Why you dummying up again? I don't know about Nomad nothing. I'm offering you a fair reward. A spaceman can go on a hell of a tear with 20,000 credits. A 1-year tear. What more do you want? I don't know nothing about Nomad nothing. It's us or intelligence, Foyle. You ain't so anxious for them to get me, or you wouldn't be flipping through all this. But ain't no use anyway. I don't know about Nomad nothing. You son of a... Dagenham tried to repress his anger. He had revealed just a little too much to this cunning, primitive creature. You're right, he said. You're not anxious. We're not anxious for intelligence to get you. But we've made our own preparations. His voice hardened. You think you can dummy up and stand us off? You think you can leave us to whistle for Nomad? You've even got an idea that you can beat us to the salvage. No, Foyle said. Now listen to this. We've got a lawyer waiting in New York. He's got a criminal prosecution for privacy pending against you. Piracy in space, murder, and looting. We're going to throw the book at you. Pristine will get a conviction in 24 hours. If you've got a criminal record of any kind, that means a lobotomy. They'll open up the top of your skull and burn out half your brain to stop you from ever jaunting again. Dagenham stopped and looked hard at Foyle. When Foyle shook his head, Dagenham continued. If you haven't got a record, they'll hand you 10 years of what is laughingly known as medical treatment. We don't punish criminals in our enlightened age. We cure them, and the cure is worse than punishment. They'll stash you in a black hole in one of the cave hospitals. You'll be kept in permanent darkness and solitary confinement so you can't jaunt out. They'll go through the motions of giving you shots and therapy, but you'll be rotting in the dark. You'll stay there and rot until you decide to talk. We'll keep you there forever. So make up your mind. I don't know nothing about Nomad. Nothing, Foyle said. All right, Dagenham spat. Suddenly he pointed to the orchid blossom he had enclosed with his hands. It was blighted and rotting. That's what's going to happen to you.